Welcome back to Eyes on Israel. Do you long to connect more deeply with the powerful sacred words of the Psalms, to pray and rejoice through the very words that King David uttered to the Almighty? Imagine being able to read and understand the original Hebrew of the Psalms, even if you don't know a word of Hebrew. The Israel Bible Book of Psalms Pray Like David edition makes this possible through an ingenious blend of faithful English translation and a complete English transliteration of all 30,000 plus Hebrew words. Transliteration is the process of representing words from one alphabet or language using the characters of another alphabet. In this case, the ancient Hebrew words of the Psalms have been transliterated letter by letter into English characters. So instead of the Hebrew word shalom being written in its usual Hebrew script, it appears as shalom using English letters that allow you to sound out and pronounce the Hebrew word phonetically. This powerful technique cracks the code of the Hebrew alphabet, making it possible for you to vocalize the Psalms with perfect Hebrew diction by simply reading the English transliterations provided on each page alongside the Hebrew text and English translation. It gives you a direct pipeline into experiencing the Psalms through David's original mother tongue. With the transliteration acting as your guide, you can sound out and pronounce each hallowed Hebrew word, bringing the devotional verses of Israel's sweet psalmist to life in their original language. The English translation allows you to marinate in the full meaning. Don't miss this unique opportunity to pray like David and make his spiritual outpourings your own. Go to praylikedavid.com to buy your copy of the Israel Bible Book of Psalms, Pray Like David edition, today, and gain unparalleled access to the divinely inspired prayers that have uplifted the people of Israel for millennia. If you're watching this show, you are obviously aware that on October 7th, Israel was viciously attacked by Hamas, the terrorist organization that rules Gaza and that is fighting to take down Israel out of nationalistic aspirations to establish a Palestinian state. That's what you've been told. But what most people, even many who follow Israel closely, do not know is that Hamas is not really an independent local organization. In 1973, Sheikh Ahmed Yassin, an Islamic cleric from Gaza, founded the Palestinian branch of the Muslim Brotherhood. 14 years later, in 1987, Yassin founded the Islamic Resistance Movement, or Hamas, as the paramilitary wing of the Palestinian Muslim Brotherhood. Yassin founded Hamas with the help of Abdallah Azzam, a highly influential Islamic thinker affiliated with the Muslim Brotherhood. Azzam, also known as the father of global Jihad, was the mentor of Osama bin Laden and helped him create Al-Qaeda. The doctrines and aims of Al-Qaeda, Hamas, and ISIS, which emerged from Al-Qaeda, are all based on the teachings of Abdallah Azzam and the Muslim Brotherhood. In fact, the sign above the door of the Hamas military academy in Gaza read, before it was destroyed by the Israelis, "Welcome to the Dr. Abdallah Azzam Academy." And now, 5+ months into the war with Hamas, it's become clearer and clearer that the Biden administration is working hard to prevent Israel from destroying this terrorist group, fulfilling a prediction I made publicly 3 days after October 7th. Many people think this is all because Biden wants to win Michigan and its large Muslim population. But for the Biden administration and the Obama administration before it, there are deeper reasons behind the current antipathy for Israel. Frank Gaffney is the executive vice chairman and founder of the Center for Security Policy. The center has been nationally and internationally recognized as a resource for timely, informed, and penetrating analysis of foreign and defense policy matters. Under President Ronald Reagan, Frank acted as the Assistant Secretary of Defense for International Security Policy. He also serves as Vice Chair of the Committee for the Present Danger China, and he's the host of Securing America on this network, Real America's Voice. Frank, welcome to Eyes on Israel.
I couldn't be more delighted to be not only with you, but on this program. I'm so excited that it's on Real America's Voice and look forward to many more opportunities to visit on our show, Securing America, as well as on this one, I hope.
Thank you, Frank. And thank you, Frank, for all your help in the lead up to this show of helping us build that relationship with Real America's Voice. You were really instrumental in that. And our viewers should know that Frank and I are dear friends. Frank, Amen. The reason I wanted to bring you on, and as I teed you up in this intro, is that you've been watching the dealings of the Muslim Brotherhood for decades, and a lot of people don't realize that the Muslim Brotherhood is an organization that is the backbone of groups like Hamas, but is also deeply embedded, unfortunately, in the U.S. government. Could you talk to that? Could you lay it out for people for whom this is brand new information?
Sure. It's impossible to really get to the second part in a proper understanding of just how serious a problem it is without setting the stage a little bit. So let me just talk about the Brotherhood and build on what you said in your introduction, Pesach. The Muslim Brotherhood was founded in 1928, basically for a single purpose, and that was to restore the caliphate, the sort of transnational Muslim order that was exhibited in, Turkey initially and spread its tentacles over much of the Muslim world. This ambition will not be confined, unfortunately, to restoring, the Ottoman Empire. It is the intent of the Muslim Brothers to establish all over the world a new caliphate, a new theocracy that will rule according to the doctrine of Sharia, which is the fundamental, operating code, if you will, or system of Islam. Not all Muslims adhere to it, fortunately, but many do, and the brothers exhibit the most virulent form of this, as do various offshoots. You mentioned Al-Qaeda, you mentioned ISIS. One could mention a dozen others very easily. In fact, one doesn't have to come up with many names for these guys. This little booklet has an interesting provenance. It was found really providentially in a raid on a suburban home outside Washington, D.C., a couple of decades ago now. It's called the Explanatory Memorandum. Turns out in that home was the archives of the Muslim Brotherhood, and this explanatory memorandum, which was introduced into evidence in a federal prosecution of people in this country raising money for Hamas, it lays out that the object of the brothers here in the United States is, quote, to destroy Western civilization from within by the hands of the unbelievers and the hands of the believers, so that Allah's religion is made supreme over all the world. That is what we're dealing with. And the fact that we have anybody inside the United States government who is sympathetic to the Muslim Brotherhood, let alone essentially representatives of them, operatives of them, is terrifying. But we've had for some time, particularly during the Obama-Biden years, I think we're ourselves as being in the third iteration of those years, Obama-Biden 3.0. But it makes the point that what is being done by the United States government to Israel is not just evidence of a certain enmity towards Benjamin Netanyahu, or for that matter, towards the Jewish state itself. It is an admiration for, it is a sympathy for, it is a, I think, desire to achieve the goals of the Muslim Brotherhood, and specifically to save Hamas so that it is able to carry on with the destruction of the Jewish state, and in due course, others as well, including us.
Frank, at the beginning of the war, I mentioned in my intro that I published an op-ed within the week after October 7th, basically saying that the Biden administration, as this war progresses, will try to prevent Israel from destroying Hamas. And many people in my own community were like, what are you talking about? Why are you even saying that? And I just said to them, listen, I've been paying attention, and some of that paying attention is my relationship with you and the information that that you've revealed, over the time we've known each other. Unfortunately, we're at a place right now where again, this alliance with Qatar, between the United States and Qatar, and the policies that we're seeing the United States implement, people think they're just about, little bits of politics or pandering to the left. But as you say, there is a real agenda by some people inside that administration who really want to take down the state of Israel.
Indeed, there is. And that would be bad enough, Pesach. I just want to impress, particularly for an American audience, that is not the end of it. As I said, destroying Western civilization from within by their hands, meaning ours, is about taking down the United States. Israel is, ladies and gentlemen, a speed bump on the way to getting at the United States. Iran, the outfit that sponsors Hamas, yes, and Hezbollah and Houthis and so on, has made it clear from the inception of the Iranian mullahocracy that death to Israel is just a prelude to death to America. We cannot support the Muslim Brotherhood. We must root out people who are sympathetic to it, let alone people who work for it, from the executive branch, from the Congress, from, public policy think tanks, and not least the media. We're not doing that. We're not even alive to the real danger they represent. So thank you for taking this issue on your program. God bless you.
Well, thank you, Frank, and thank you for being on the program. And again, and I'll also point out to our viewers that a couple of weeks ago we made a little bit of headlines when when I called Chuck Schumer a court Jew on your show, and then it ended up getting out on Bannon's show, and Media Matters made a big stink about it. But this really, this is so we've been in a few wars together, and we're going to be in a few more, and Frank, we're going to have you back. Please keep fighting the good fight. Please keep educating people. We're in the thick of it. 2024 is the year. So thank you for joining us on Eyes on Israel, Frank Gaffney. We'll be right back with more Eyes on Israel right after this.